Hello, this is Harry Paden. I am the host of Paden's Pulpit. Today, Season 2, Episode 30, Raising Black Boys into Men. Season 2, Episode 30, Raising Black Boys into Men. That's a lofty title and certainly a goal for any community, black, white, native, indigenous people. You want to raise boys into men. The animal kingdom, there's a certain gestation, and then males generally are segregated because males tend to be the protectors in the animal kingdom and even in the human kingdom. Boys in certain communities are not always raised into men. They're raised into adult boys. I've heard over and over, you'll see someone that'll have a son that's 34, and the parent, will say, "That's my baby. That's my baby." At 34, they're no longer your baby. They are your youngest. Some people use, I think, the expression knee baby, different things like that. But that's not a baby at 34, at 24, at 20. And we got to stop with that mindset because we tend to raise our boys to be dependent, especially on their mothers, also upon others. And that is to the degradation of our community. Today's topic is an easy one for me because it's something that I've done most of my adult life, is give boys, especially black boys, the tips that were given to me when I was living in the Scudder Home projects. And a lot of my mentors were trying to let us know this is not where you want to be all your life. You have to grow up, become educated, and get out of this community so that way you can come back and bring others out of this community. I learned that lesson well. Thank God I was able to escape, get an education, and I've mentored thousands upon thousands of not only boys into men, but girls into women. It's not a brag, it's a fact. But let me start. If you Google black males, you're flooded with statistics, mostly that deal with negativity. And it's no wonder that our young men feel like losers. Here's some of the examples. Check me out. Do it. Check me out. Here's some of the examples. 72% of African American boys lack a father in the home. Nationally, African American males have a 53% chance of dropping out of high school. In some districts, the rates are significantly higher. While African Americans make up 17% of the total school population, they account for at least 32% of the suspensions and 30% of all expulsions. 1 out of 3 males, black males, are involved in the penal system. Read that again, Paden. 1 of 3 black males are involved with the penal system. African American male teens are placed in remedial or special education classes at triple the rate of their white counterparts, and they are underrepresented in gifted and honors classes. That's just a few. Check me out. If you Google black males, black boys, you'll get those statistics. Many of them by experts, that's quotation marks, by experts, Dr. So-and-so. These statistics are readily available from, again, so many experts, not all of them white. Many of them are people of color, i.e. blacks. These are staggering statistics, and they're very depressing and negative. So let me tell you my thought on these statistics. Though they're all over, people have written books on them, they may even be true. Negativity breeds negativity. I'm a person that believes that my glass is always half full as opposed to half empty. There's two ways of looking at it. My glass is half full. Nah, that's not me, that's negative. My glass is, well, I want to make sure I said it right, so here's the way. My glass is half empty. That's the negative way. I'm a believer in my glass is half full. Same glass, same content, but half full sounds better than half empty. Now, there are a lot of things that we can do to change the paradigm. But let me tell you, it won't be done via the school system. The schools will not teach your children, particularly your black males, how to be men. Now, this is not inclusive of all schools, but by design, we know they're going to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. And take tests. And take tests. And take tests. Tell me I'm wrong. It was that way when I went to school, and I graduated high school in 1971. More than 50 years ago, right? 52 years ago. Time goes by and it gets so old you forget. But I was good at math, so did that. But here's what we need to do. Change that paradigm. Stop depending upon the schools. Let me give you an example that I always use. I do a lot of studying of the animal world because those are God's creatures and God created them to survive. Could you imagine a gazelle, which is a type of deer, when it's young, going to a school taught by lions on how to survive? Would that lion teach that deer, you got to look out, you got to make sure there's no lions, you got to smell, make sure you don't smell no lions? Would that lion teach that to that gazelle? No. Because then that lion would have a harder time in catching that gazelle. So our school systems, by design, are not going to teach our black boys how to survive in this society. They're going to teach people how to survive. But black males, black boys are different and distinct from any other population, including black girls. The system loves for black females to succeed because generally that means that if she succeeds, she's up here and her man is down there. And that in and of itself sometimes create problems for men who are not strong enough to be a partner with a strong woman. Different subject, different day. But society has no problem with educating and making sure that black females get education, get good jobs. Black males, different story. Here's what we need to do. My opinion, no, forget that. I'm going to stop being humble. I know it works. Let's take our black boys out and segregate them, educate them. Not talking about in the school system, because in New Jersey you can't segregate boys and girls. There's a reason for that. Won't get into it. But by law you can't do it. They'll cut your funding. Well, you can do it if you don't get funded by the. And you name me a urbane school that's not funded, probably 90% by the state. So they tell you what to do because they give you the money. We need to segregate our young men and teach them how to survive in this world. Teach them that popular society, hoodies, and there's nothing wrong with wearing hoodies. I wear hoodies when I go fishing. And that's when I wear my hoodie, or when it's stormy out. But wearing hoodies, droopy pants, wilding out, doing certain things, mistreating our female population, that's unacceptable in our community. Why? Because that has led to the destruction of our community. So you take them out. Now, how do you take them out if you're not going to educate them and give them these tips in the school system? Recreation programs. There are churches, hundreds, there are thousands of churches open on Sunday, open on Wednesday for Bible class, but they're not open after school. They're not open on the weekends. Wow. Now, people don't like me when I put out the force of the truth. The truth is the truth. We need to stop going to others and try to have them teach our kids how to be young men and young women. That's a shame. It's like the gazelle. Having to be taught by the lion how to be a gazelle. That's insane. But we do, and we laughing. They won't teach our kids Black history in school. Oh, it's so hateful. Stop crying. Man, woman up. We need to teach it in every home. Some parents aren't capable because they don't have the education themselves. That's why I say the churches, the recreation centers, the Alpha Kappa. You know, I'm not into fraternities and sororities. I'm not taking anything away from them. They're great. But those are the things that need to be done. Now, there are some out there doing this, so don't let me offend someone. But we need this to be every church. We need this to be every sorority fraternity. We need this to be every housing complex. If you got children in your housing complex, have a recreation program for them so that they are inside your community protected. Teach them how to cross the street. Teach them how to fight so they don't have to use guns. That's what we should do. Raising boys, black boys, into men. How do I know it worked? Because it worked for me. I grew up in the Scudder Home Projects, and I wanted to be just like all the other cool kids. Hang out all night, romance girls, do certain things, you know, drink, use substances. But Mrs. Paden said, no, street light on, come in. I was embarrassed. I thought she was the, oh man, did not like her. I'm being honest. Because I thought, why she treat me like a baby? Well, I'm here, flesh and blood, because of Mrs. Naomi Paden and my father, who went out and worked like a dog because there were 11 of us. So my father worked, my mother took care of the home, and my mentors raised me into a strong black man, gave me tips. I've been getting Black history since 1969. Again, 50 plus years. I know more about Black history than a lot of scholars, but mine is self-taught and I got it. I get things. People will text me information because they know. Now, this is not just a black thing. Many of my greatest mentors were white, men and women. Say it again, Paden. Many of my greatest mentors were white or non-blacks, because they were other denominations also, but white also. They taught me you can be anything you want to be. Be strong, read, get educated, go out to college, don't do this, don't do that. They taught me those things, and see, luckily, I listened. Sometimes reluctantly, because I wanted to be like the cool kids. But I'm about to end this. But you know, the thing about it is, years later, and you know this is true, I would see the cool kids 10 years later, 5 years later, after graduating from high school. And they'd be like, "Hi, Harry, how you doing? Harry got a dollar, man?" And I'd be like, oh, like that song. Whoa, in high school, you used to be the man, woman. Everybody envied you. All the girls liked you. All the boys liked you. Now you out here asking me for $1 on the street. Every time I see you, you ask me for $1. Okay, we have to educate. Books, I put out 4 or 5 of my books have Black history. I can't write a book without Black history. It's too important a subject. But sometimes people act like as if they buy a book, it'll enrich me, when the information in these books will enrich their kids. And I sit back and go, wow, that's sad. I don't write these books because I need to know it. My children know this. My grandchildren know this. We need to stop having and depending upon others and teach our young men, young women, not only educational things, teach them how to cook, clean, sew, do laundry, take care of their children. I was a single dad twice in my life. Thank God my mother taught me how to do those things, because I would have been, it would have been very difficult for me to do those things. Raising a young man of color is serious business. A Chinese Taoist, Taoist philosopher named Lao Tzu, he said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You got 1,000 miles to go? It's a long distance, but it begins with that first step. Here's another one as I end. This is by Frederick Douglass. And Lord have mercy, if you don't know, even the school system teach you about Frederick Douglass. But if you don't know, I have nothing to say. But Frederick Douglass, this is his quote. It is easier to build strong children than repair broken men. Say it again, Paden. It is easier to build strong children than repair broken men. Frederick Douglass. Please, 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 sir, ma'am, let's stop depending upon the lion to teach our gazelles how to be super gazelles. Many gazelles live long lives because they learn how to escape the lions and the other predators from their mothers and from their fathers. That's our job. If a gazelle can learn how to survive in a world full of predators, so should our black boys. To God be the glory. We have to do better. It's not their fault. It's ours.